r/EntitledParents. Episode 2. I'm not allowed to take my meds. After having an argument over whether it's cannibalism for me to eat fish and then having to lay down with an ice pack on my back for half an hour, I decided to post here again. This happened a few months ago. No kids make an appearance in this story, but the parental status of M does play a factor. Minus the cast. Me minus me. M minus bitch. Minus. So I'm just doing my normal weekend thing. I got lunch and went to a public park to eat. It was allowed and they had trash cans. Don't worry. When I get the alert on my phone that it's time for me to take my meds, I have them on me, so I take them. Apparently M saw this. M. Why are you taking drugs in front of my kids? Me. Through my medications. I need them to not perpetually wanna jump off a cliff. M. You just need to cheer up. Me. Yes, cheering up will fix the brain bullshit I have going on and erase my trauma. Thanks, I'm cured. Never thought about that. M. I'm calling the cops for you doing drugs. I just nod and finish up my lunch. The cops arrive while I'm on my way out and I tell them it's just my meds and show them the bottle. They let me go. I don't know what happened to M, but I'm hoping they find her for misuse of emergency services. Edit. For those curious about my first sentence, check my bio. M defends kids for killing soon-to-be pet. For starters, I'm on mobile, so I apologize if the formatting gets whack. Also, English is my first language. On with the story. This happened on a family vacation years ago. We went down to Texas near the Gulf since I have never seen a beach. Wasn't that impressive since it was a gulf. Anyways, near the end of the trip I saw this beautiful hermit crab. In a store, not a wild one. That had stripped legs and a green color. I had enough money to buy him. And I did. I was in the parking lot after when my cousins, who are all young boys, like 8, come up to me. Here's the cast. M. My stepmother. Surprise Lamau. C1. Cousin 1. C2. Cousin 2. Me. Yes. C1. Ooh, can we see him? Me. No. C2. But WHYYYYY. Me. You got money. C2. No. Me. Then go away. I already have to keep him calm for the 12-hour drive. C1. I'm telling mom you aren't sharing. Even though she is there and's been a mom figure to them. Me. Cool. Well, my mom comes storming over, which for a 5'2" woman is oddly scary. M. Why aren't you letting them hold Larry? Me. First of all, his name is Tyrone. And because I'm not comfortable with any of my pets around children, let alone a little crab. M. I'll tell your father you've been misbehaving all vacation. Me. He literally can't do anything but okay. After that I made the tragic decision to put Tyrone the crab in the car while I went to catch more waves at the beach, since it was next to the shop. When I came back, Lord behold, the 2 kids were rolling him around in the sand and salt water. I lost it. Even though I only had him a max of an hour, he was mine and I loved that Shelly boy. Me. What the fuck are you doing? Get in the goddamn car, you sheet stains. M. Watch your language. Why are you such an angry girl? Me. They were hurting my crab. M. So they are just kids. They didn't know better. Me. When I was their age I wasn't abusing animals, or even touching them without permission. M. They had permission from me. Me. I told them no. It was my money and now it is wasted. M. I'll pay you back later, but you have to apologize. Me. Or you can pay and I won't tell dad that you went against my word and killed my pet basically. M. Whatever. We are going back to the hotel. Now I also want to say that this whole time I was holding my barely alive crab. Though at the end when I looked down, Tyrone was dead. Legs missing. Cracked shell. Just awful. I did what you would have seen in sad movies, and tossed his remains into the ocean. No way was I putting him in the car with those crotch goblins. But yeah, that was my story. Put an F for Tyrone. M lets Ek into our home without permission, then threatens to sue for racial discrimination. Cast. Minus me equals take a guess minus M equals mom minus J equals cousin. Working on the garage sale with us. K equals aunt. Also working with us. M equals entitled mother minus Ek equals entitled kid. We held a garage sale this morning that went from 8 am 6 p.m. The sale has a steady stream of 3 to 5 people at a time, but it was relatively uneventful until about 11:30 am. I was working the cash register for a majority of the time, and I found people watching interesting from that perspective. My mom was working at the register with me, while my cousin and aunt were walking around everything, reorganizing and such. At about 11:30 am, a mother, M, and her son, Ek, came walking up. I need to mention now that they're both African American, as it's an important detail for later. They did the expected browsing. M looked through clothes and home decor, while Ek looked at the toys, games and books. I take a quick lunch break, so I switch out with my cousin, and I walk around the side of the garage and into the house. I get to the kitchen, when I hear the door open and close, then footsteps up the stairs. I assume it's my mom, so I keep filling my plate. The door opens one more time, and I hear my mom say, "My name, are you in here?" I respond with a yes, and she asks who just came in here. I get up to see what she's talking about, and I can see both my aunt and my cousin are at the register. I realize that means that it wasn't my aunt, cousin or mom that just walked into our house, or that my mom was playing a cruel joke on me, which I felt wasn't likely. So now someone we don't know is in our house, and that's probably one of the scariest feelings. My mom goes back outside, and I go upstairs. I specifically remember closing every door upstairs. My bedroom, mom's bedroom, spare bedroom and bathroom, but the door to the spare bedroom is open slightly. I peek into the room expecting either a creepy old man, or a ghost, but it turns out to be Ek. Ek is just laying on the futon couch, watching TV. Hey, I say to him. Ek just looks up at me then looks back at the TV. "Why are you in here?" I ask him. Ek doesn't acknowledge me at all this time. "Hey, I ask you a question," I say sternly. Ek doesn't do anything again. I walk over to him, and grab the remote and turn off the TV. He sits up and stares at me, intensely. The front door opens again. "Get out. This isn't your house, kid." I'm so glad my aunt came into the house when she did, because she heard and came up. "Who's this?" Kay asks me. "Some kid. I think his mom's outside." I respond. "Do you know where your mom is?" Kay asks Ek. Kay walks towards Ek, and grabs his hand. She pulls him up and takes him outside. I follow them outside, 'cause I'm curious what's gonna happen, and I can tell this will make a great Reddit story, and watch Kay reunite Ek and M. It wasn't as happy of a reunion as I thought, however. "M, unhand my son. Come here." Kid's name. M walks over to her. "Kay, why was he in the house?" Sternly. "M, well, that other boy walked into your house, so why can't my son? Is it because he's black?" "Yes." She really stooped to the level. "Kay, Mom, he lives here. Your son does not." "M, I don't care. You can't kick my son out just because he's black." Jay finally snaps and says, "Listen here, bitch. We never said anything about you being black, and we never said anything about having a problem with you being black. And your son can't come into our house, because no one gave him any permission. We can, and we'll call the cops if this happens again. M, you can't kick us for being black. We'll come back with a lawyer for racial discrimination." J. F. King, try me. M. Scoffs. "Come on. Kid's name. Let's get away from these racist pricks." The two walked away quickly. Luckily, no one else was there to see this scene. We continued the garage sale like normal for a few more hours. So it was a pretty eventful day. M expects to walk out of store with free groceries because her cards are maxed out. Edit. I got a few complaints about the grammatical quality of the original, so I got on my laptop and rewrote it for you guys. Grammatically improved version. This happened last night while I was at the grocery store doing my weekly shopping. I was waiting in line behind a woman in her mid-30s pushing a double pram and a large shopping cart which was overflowing. After the groceries were scanned and packed, she tried to pay with two cards which both declined. She made the cashier try the first card twice as she said, "Sorry, this is a new card." This turned out to be a lie, as her second card also declined, but with no excuse this time. She didn't have a single bill in her wallet. Here is where the entitlement starts. Once she realized she has no way of paying, she starts saying, "I'm so sorry, I'll pay for it next time. Print the bill up and I'll pay for it next time I am in the store." This is Stop and Shop, right? A chain supermarket, lol. The poor attendant is trying to tell her that they don't let people take groceries and pay later, so she starts to become aggravated and starts taking it personally, saying, "You are trying to make my family starve this week," and starts pushing the pram and the massive cart out past the register at the same time, jerking them both back and forth as she has one arm on either. Needless to say, the manager and a fellow customer stopped her at the door and advised her to leave before they called the police. She then put two hands on the cart, leaving the pram, and attempted to push it past the two people in her way. When the manager and member of the public stood in front of her shopping cart, she realized she wasn't getting away with it this time. She then snuffed her nose upwardly and starts violently jerking the pram to turn it around, and screams into the manager's face that she is going to shores next time. Needless to say, the manager was like, "Thank fuck." The kids were in tears the whole time, so you can imagine what a scene this was. Original. This happened last night when I was at the grocery store doing my weekly shopping. I was waiting in line behind this woman, 30s, with a double pram and a large shopping cart overflowing. After the groceries were scanned and packed, she tried to use her card, which declined because it was a new card. She tried it and another card, which all declined. She didn't have a single bill in her wallet. Here is the part she starts saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry, I'll pay for it next time. Print the bill up and I'll pay for it next time I'm in the store." And the attendant is trying to say she can't do that, and she's becoming aggravated, taking it personally. "You are trying to make my family starve this week," and starts trying to push the pram and massive cart out the front, jerking both back and forth as she had one arm on each. Needless to say, the manager and a fellow customer stopped her at the door and advised her to leave before we called the police. She then put two hands on the cart, leaving the pram, and attempted to push past the two people. She sort of just snuffs her nose, violently jerks the pram around, and screams in the manager's face that she's going to shores next time. The manager was like, "Thank fuck." The kids were in tears the whole time. TL/drive. M thinks the store owes her free groceries because she didn't have the money to pay. M thinks it's okay for her kid to play guitar, but thinks I shouldn't play Fallout. I'm on mobile, so things might come out differently than when I type them. Also, I didn't say this before, but English is my first language. This happened a few years ago at my local GameStop. My dad took me to get some games because he figured I was old enough to play violent games. I was 13 at the time and looked like I was 12. I'm 16 now, and whenever I shave my pathetic excuse of a beard, I still look 12. I knew which games I wanted. Fallout and New Vegas. I heard really great things about them. I went to this free wall when it was still pretty big. It's just a couple of shelves on the floor now. And I went looking. I grabbed Fallout GOTY and New Vegas. I couldn't afford Ultimate Edition. I walked over to my dad and told him I was ready to check out. Before I went to the counter, he grabbed South Park, The Stick of Truth. This game doesn't retain to the story. He just knew I watched the show. Before I walked to the counter, this woman rushes in with her kid who looks to be around. Her kid grabs TV as if he's memorized its location on the wall. The conversation goes a little something like this. Cast. Me mystical enchilada. M Karen. Ek entitled kid. E employee. D my dad. E. Hello miss. Did you find everything alright? M. Yes, I did. The GameStop employee looks at the case, looks at the kid, and then looks at M. E. Miss, you do understand that this is rated M? Yes. M. So. E. This game contains graphic content, nudity, strong language, use of drugs and alcohol, etc. M. And that means. E. I'm not supposed to sell this game to you since your child is considerably underage. M looks at me and says. M. Well, he's underage too. You shouldn't sell him that game then. E. Miss, I've known these two for years now. I know that this young man is capable of playing this game. referring to Fallout in case some of you didn't know. Young man? You're calling this little brat a young man? He's only 11. She actually said I looked 11. I'm already a little annoyed at this point and I just say, me, I'm 14. No you are not. I know what a 14-year-old looks like. You are not 14 you little brat. I had only said 2 words and I was already being called a brat. Mommy, I wanna play the game. And you will. She turned towards me and took the games out my hands, and turned back to the employee. I want these games free as compensation for you harassing me and my child. Clearly getting annoyed. Miss, I can't let you do that as that is against store policy. Plus this young man was about to check out before you rushed in here. Enough of this young man shit. He is clearly a brat who shouldn't be allowed to buy these games either. You have no right to talk to my son like that. Who the hell are you to say I shouldn't talk like that to your brat? Miss, you need to leave. Shut the hell up and mind your own damn business. If anything this brat and his shit father should leave. I had enough of her shit. Me. 1. Don't talk about my father like that too. I already told you. I'm 14-3. I had only ever said 2 words for. I'm 5 years older than your kid and have had experience with violent games. You are the one who should leave. Was pissed after that. She yelled at the employee more. Yelled at my dad saying he wasn't a good father. She yelled at me for God knows why at this point. Being the land whale that she was took the cases, knocked the fixtures on the floor. She put in some real force, and stormed out cases in hand. There was no receipt so she triggered the alarms. She also proceeded to give us the bird on her way out and kicked me in the leg before following her out. Since the cases don't have the games in them, the employees have to put the games in if they're pre-owned. She only took empty cases. The employee gave me new cases and the games. Upgraded New Vegas and South Park for no extra charge. To this day, she is still my favorite employee and she will occasionally give me discounts. TL Drive. Basically the title. Thanks for reading. Racist and think it's okay to call black man the N-word. Hey guys, first of all I will not bleep our cuss words or the N-word. I am not the least bit racist and find all races to be the same. I am not bleeping the N-word to also show how terrible it is to say it in text and in word. I'm sorry for any hurt feelings. Cast. PG-poor guy stupid bitch. Entitled kid. Stupid piece of shit. Entitled parent. A more scruffy looking black man looking around the age of 21 maybe. He turns the block carrying some really nice shoes and a backpack. In come and hey look at that guy's shoes. Oh they're very nice. Ed and walk to PG. Pulls out headphones. PG what the foo oh hello. So where did you get those shoes? Did you steal them? PG pardon. She said you stole those shoes retard. PG no I saved up for these with my birthday money. No you didn't. You stole those like the rest of your kind. You stole them because you're a nigger. I'm sitting on a bench absolutely distraught. PG what did you say? Well you're a monkey like my mom says. Yes. Yes he is. Now give me those shoes so I can report them to the police. PG no. I bought them. No you did not. She then snatched them and ran. PG hey. He called the police quick enough and darted after them. I'm so fucking sad that people are like this. Especially a kid. A kid is throwing racial slurs and his mom doesn't care. That family must be a piece of shit. TL Drive. Son calls black man the N-word. Mom accuses him of stealing shoes and steals them. That time I got the cops called on me. So, I'm a bit young, 13, and am usually a good kid. There come times where other people make me look bad. I'm not giving context, aside from what's going to be in the story, or any warnings. The cast. No, I'm giving names, not real names. So I have a bow and arrow. At the time this story took place I just got it and I had waited all winter to use it. I decided to shoot my arrows at the tree in my backyard. Wannabe suburbs. The arrow flew off into Karen's yard and I had to use the bathroom. Off I went inside to use the bathroom. Now I should make some things clear. My neighbor, person behind my house, has 2 dogs. While I was in the bathroom, Karen must have gone out into her backyard and found my arrow. After I finished up in the bathroom, I went out again to shoot my bow, and that's when the cops showed up. My mom told me the cops were here for me and I was frickin' terrified. The cops came to talk to me and asked if I was shooting Karen's dogs. Now I immediately thought, wow, Karen's a bitch. But I told the cops that my arrow flew into her backyard. I didn't mean to hurt her dogs if I did, but I wasn't shooting her dogs. The cops had already heard her side of the story and thought that an 8-year-old kid's arrow flying into the neighbor's yard was more believable than a psychopathic child trying to kill her dogs. One of the cops stayed inside the house and talked with my mom, and the other went out and talked with me. He was a bow hunter and said that it's okay that my arrow flew into her yard. He let me off with a warning, and I'm pretty sure Karen got in trouble for filing a false police report. TL. Doctor, I got the cops called on me cause my neighbor thought I was trying to shoot her dogs. I get off scot-free. Edit. So, I've been interacting with some of you in the comments and, yes, I should have been using a backstop or a target, or both. I don't really shoot my bow anymore, but I do see where she was coming from. She should have talked with my parents instead of jumping to an insane conclusion. But she did want to get revenge on me and my family. See, there was an instance where she threw dirt at my dog, so my mom called the cops. Kind of a Karen move, so that set off a chain of hate with her. Coincidentally, we also hate my other neighbors, to the side of my house. So me and my neighbors don't get along very well. I'll save my other neighbor's story for another time though. Edit. I need to clarify, Karen's dogs were not out at the time my arrow flew. M wants dogs removed who attacked her son after he jumped the neighbor's fence into their yard. Not my story, but I just saw this and thought I should put it on here. I'll put in the link, along with the story itself. I feel this may be controversial, so I'm curious about everyone's opinions. 8-year-old boy attacked by 3 dogs after jumping fence into neighbor's yard in Clearfield. http://via.fox13now.com/OGF. Clearfield, Utah. Lindsay Long's 8-year-old son was playing in their Clearfield backyard with a friend when his ball went over the neighbor's fence. He decided to go get it, and, in a matter of seconds, 3 pit bulls were on top of him. The dogs ran after him, Long said. They noticed him, got him to the ground, dragged him across the yard a couple feet. She heard the commotion and ran over to rescue him, but her son had already been bitten. She said she attempted to put her body between her son and the dogs, but they were relentless. She ended up throwing her son back over the fence. The boy suffered some soft tissue damage, some abrasions and puncture wounds. Long said she and her husband have both told their son not to go into the neighbor's yard, even if he has permission to retrieve the toy. The dog owner's uncle, Richard Palomara, lives in the home. He said to his knowledge, the boy was never given permission. Palomara said no kids have ever jumped the fence before. He also said any other times the dogs have been around children, they have been friendly. Few good dogs. Man, I'm kind of surprised that's what happened, he said. Brian Smith, a Davis County Animal Control field supervisor, said anytime multiple dogs get together, it creates a pack mentality. Something could set them off, he said. That is what troubles Long. She said she wants the laws changed and made stricter when considering an attack made by multiple dogs. She added Davis County prohibits homeowners from having more than 2 dogs in the home. Anyway, at this point, however, she feels the dogs' punishment does not suit the crime. My son went through so much trauma, and the fact that these animals are allowed to just stay there and are basically off the hook for attacking my son, Long said. Palomara is trying to work things out with the Longs. He said he feels awful for what happened. I do feel for the kid 100%, he said. I don't feel like anybody should deserve what he went through. It must have been traumatic for him. Smith said their investigation will be based on evidence and testimony gathered at the scene. TL. Doctor, it's the title. Medium. M rams stroller, with her own kid in it, into security guard. Not entirely sure if this falls into Ep's story, but remembered this from a while back and thought it'd share. This happened in the early S, when my friend was working as a cashier in a shopping chain store. And #XB. M equals mother. MF equals my friend. SG equals security guard. And #XB. MF was on register 1, the closest register to the exit door about 20 feet away, when a woman, M, and her larger stroller with her young toddler in it, walked through the first exit doors as the store alarm went off. And #XB. This is a store with a one-section room area. You enter first minus where the carts are stored minus to walk through to enter the actual store area. And #XB. Everyone stopped and looked at her, but M turned around, no concern on her face, and spoke aloud to MF on the register, nearest employee she could see. And #XB. She started waving her flip phone up high to the registers and shouted, "Oh, it was just my cell phone." And #XB. MF told me that sometimes, back then, in the early 2000s, cell phones would occasionally set off the security sensors at the exit doors, so it was a common thing to see. And #XB. MF did a quick nod, when suddenly and at a breakneck speed, one of their company workers and SG came running from the back of the store and charged in front of the woman before M could get out through the next set of exit doors to the parking lot. Both SG and the company worker are blocking her from leaving now, as her young toddler begins crying. The M becomes frantic and starts to lose her cool. And #XB. This is what MF told me they heard. And #XB. M, please, it's just my cell phone. Let me through. And #XB. SG, ma'am, we need to check your belongings. And #XB. M, I told you, it's my phone. And #XB. SG, ma'am, I need to check. And #XB. M, why? Let me out. And #XB. SG, ma'am. And #XB. MF at this point said M started ramming the stroller with her toddler in it, against the SG and company worker, as her child is now screaming. The SG at this point had to restrain her before she hurt her own child in the chaos, and M was screaming at the top of her lungs, "Let go, to unhand her and to not hurt her child either." And #XB. Turns out, on the security footage, SG saw her acting suspicious, went looking for M but she was gone from the section, so he questioned the company worker in the section M was just in and investigated. Then immediately they both knew when the alarm went off at the doors. Found out M was piling several DVDs and CDs into her child's stroller, hoping she could get away with it with the cell phone gimmick. And #XB. Don't know what happened after that, but it's pretty done entitled and screwed up to use your own kid as a decoy to steal, then ram that kid into others to try to escape. What morals? Homophobic Karen at the theater, even though nothing gay was on screen. Cast. Me. I wonder who M. Extreme moron a Karen NK. M's kid. Not actually entitled. H. M's poor husband onto the story. So yesterday I saw Rocketman, Elton John biopic, great movie BTW, and if you know anything about Elton John, correct me if I'm wrong, you know that he came out as being gay and the movie doesn't shy away from gay imagery. Of course, people had problems with this, including this Karen. So I was watching the movie and our gay scene came on and this was the following conversation. M. has kissing another man. That wasn't what was even on screen. H. Shush. People are trying to watch. M. But they are kissing. Again. Not on screen. NK. If you don't like it, you can leave. M. Shut up, Jimmy. Not his real name. You don't know anything about this sinful shit. Me. Shut up yourself. Your kid is actually giving you some good advice. Also, you're ruining the movie for not only other people but even your own family. M just screamed for about seconds and then left. Surprising. I know. TLDR. Karen gets offended at something that was not on screen. Have a nice day, Reddit, and remember, no Karen.